Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a full comparison of the Natasha Denona Mini Xenon palette to the Kaleidos Black Jasmine Quad. So these are both really beautiful, cool toned quads slash quints, and they have a very similar kind of color story, kind of layout as well. Just a few different grays, a matte black, and then a super sparkly silver. The price point is actually very similar as well. The Natasha Denona is $25, the Kaleidos is $22. You get one more shade with Natasha Denona, but this is like a really light beige, which I know a lot of people find repetitive. So in today's video, I did this eye look with Natasha Denona on one side and Kaleidos on the other. So I would love for you guys to guess. This is my right side. Which side the right and the left side are. I think this is really cool because Natasha Denona is such a revered brand. To see Kaleidos do something so similar, I just thought it'd be interesting to compare. And then I also pulled out the ColourPop Blow and Smoke palette because I saw some of y'all wanting comparisons of this versus the Natasha Denona and the Kaleidos. So I just thought I would leave that towards the end. I didn't do an eye look with this or anything because I don't feel like they're exactly the same level, but I can see how this would be good for some people. So we'll talk about that at the end. I'll kind of give you my final thoughts because the truth is that none of these are bad products. I definitely don't feel like you need both of these. It's a little bit repetitive. So hopefully if you are in between purchasing one of them, this video will be helpful for you. Like I said, make sure to leave your guesses down below. Now let's go ahead and jump on into the eye look. So I'm gonna put Natasha Denona on this side and Kaleidos on this side. I'd be so curious to see if you guys were able to guess right, but we're gonna go ahead and start off with the lightest gray. I'm just starting that off with a big fluffy blending brush just all the way through my crease, and then just lightly blending upwards. It's a pretty pale shade, so it's gonna be a nice transition, but it's not gonna do much more than that. So that was one layer. I'm gonna go in with a second layer, but that's about as much as it's gonna build up. I wiped off my brush and now we're gonna go into this shade. Same exact motion on this side, but I feel like you can tell immediately that the lightest gray is just a little bit darker. So there is one layer, and then here is two layers. Okay, so I grabbed a slightly smaller blending brush and we're gonna start off with this gray from Natasha Denona. And I'm just gonna pick up a decent amount of that, kind of throw it all the way through my crease. Just kind of laying the product down to start off with. And then I'll start blending upwards. You can see it's blending super easily. Even though I went in with a really good amount of color, it's pretty effortless to blend. Let's go into this gray. Again, going in with a similar amount, and I'm just gonna put that all the way through my crease to start off with. Oh no. Okay, it's a little bit more powdery. I got some underneath my eyes. Just gonna go ahead and start blending that out. Again, the pigmentation is really nice and I feel like it's blending pretty easily as well. I feel like it looks a little bit more smoky, but it's okay. So I feel like this side definitely is turning out quite a bit darker. So I always feel conflicted in videos like this on whether I should go in with more on this side to try and make it match. And I feel like this side just looks so nice and blown out. Maybe I'll go with just a touch more Natasha Denona, kind of a little bit higher up in the crease and just blending. But I want to keep this as fair as possible. Now with a super precise blending brush, we're going to go ahead and go into the deepest shade in both palettes, the matte blacks. So I'm really curious to compare them together like this on the eyes, but I'm just picking up a decent amount of Natasha Denona and just starting that off on the outer V. I feel like this is a really easy to work with black. So I'm just gonna go ahead and compare what one layer looks like all blended out. So starting off in the outer V and then kind of branching out from there. And then I'm also gonna take that black on an eyeliner brush and just connect it to the lower lash line. Okay, so I wiped off both those brushes. Now let's go ahead and go into the Kaleidos Black. I'm trying to pick up a similar amount, but it does pick up super easily with Kaleidos. So we're just gonna go ahead and pop that right here. I feel like it's almost a little bit easier to see the distinction between the black and the gray on the Kaleidos side. But just gonna go ahead and lay that down and blend. Okay, I feel like the Kaleidos one might be just a touch more pigmented, so I'm feeling like I need to go back into my previous brush just to blend this edge right here. I don't want to spread the product too much, but there's what one layer of the black looks like on this side versus this side. Blend this side a little bit too. I feel like both sides look good. Oh wait, actually, let me also do the liner on the lower lash line while I talk. I feel like both sides look good, but I feel like the Kaleidos is definitely a more pigmented black. I mean, look at that. I'm gonna do a little pencil brush dipped into the lighter gray just to lightly blend that lower lash line out. It's funny because these quads are such similar color stories, but I do feel like they kind of give different vibes. I mean, we'll kind of go over it when I give my final thoughts, but it's just interesting. Okay, that black is blending really nicely, actually. I like how that looks. I don't know if you can tell, I feel like it just looks so much more like soft and smoky here. Okay, so that's where we're at so far. Now let's go ahead and compare these silvers. So we're gonna start off with Natasha Denona. I don't know why I felt like that was just so wrong. I'm just gonna use my finger with both formulas, and we're gonna put that all over the lid. Such a pretty silver. Cannot deny it. But as you can see, I definitely did get some fallout. Normally when I use this on an everyday basis, I do go in with some glitter primer, but I didn't want to do that today for comparison's sake. All right, now going with the same amount from Kaleidos and putting that all over. So immediately I would say the amount of glitter fallout or sparkly fallout is very similar. I think both of these silvers would benefit from a glitter primer, but actually it's looking like, I feel like the Kaleidos is more sparkly and the Natasha Denona is more foiled, more metallic. They're both beautiful silvers, but they kind of appear differently. Again, Fallout City. Ooh, those sparkles are not going anywhere. Okay, so I would say both of those glitter primer for sure, unless you do your face after you do your eyes. So I don't really have anything to put on the inner corner per se, so I thought I would go ahead and go into the ColourPop Glow and Smoke palette because we're going to talk about this briefly as well. And I'm just going to dip into the matte white just for a little something something right here. I'm going to finish up the look with the LA Girl liner in the shade Smoky Charcoal for my waterline. Throw on the Supernatural mascara from Milk Cosmetics, and I'll be right back. All right, y'all, so now let's go ahead and do some swatches before I give you my final thoughts. So I think I'm going to go ahead and swatch on my hand just because I think it'll be a little bit easier to compare. So let's start off with the Kaleidos Quad. All of these shades feel super, super smooth, super pigmented. The black is a little bit less creamy than the other mattes, but I think it's because it is just so pigmented. I feel like the quality just feels so nice in these swatches. You can see just how smooth everything is. So there is the Black Jasmine Quad swatched out. I mean, look at how much pigment is still left on my fingers. It's so pretty. So swatching the Natasha Denona, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this one separately because there's nothing to compare to it in the Kaleidos palette. It's just a very pale, kind of beigey shade. I really like this one just because I feel like it's actually light enough. It's like the perfect shade to set for my skin tone, but I can see why in like such a little palette it's kind of unnecessary and it would only work for, you know, limited amount of skin tones. So there's what that shade looks like. We'll do, like I said, that one separately. So I'm gonna say the same about the Natasha Denona mattes that are in here. Everything feels super, super creamy as well. I really like the formula in this one. It's a little bit harder to do swatches of because the pans are so small, but there's what it looks like. I think you're gonna be able to tell right away the, I mean, oh my gosh. The Natasha Denona metallic is just so metallic. But anyways, I was gonna say the Kaleidos Black is definitely more pigmented. I feel like this Natasha Denona Black is a little bit more of a buildable shade. Let me do a little bit more just so you can see. Right, there's what it looks like built up. So, I mean, I feel like between these two, even though I'm such a sucker for silvers and I'm like, they're both so beautiful in their own way, I definitely don't feel like anyone would need both of these. I feel like that's a lot for me to say because normally I can sit here and be like, oh yeah, there's little differences, but no. I feel like the overall look, the color story is just so close. So I think the way I'm gonna organize this is I'm gonna kind of give you my final thoughts between these two, and then we can go ahead and add Blow and Smoke in at the very end. So like I said, I feel like both of these are really good, but I would recommend them for different people. So the Natasha Denona palette, I have no regrets with. I still feel like it's my perfect, everyday, easy, smoky eye. And I feel like that's what this look is. Like this side is a little bit more dramatic and this side is just a little bit more soft, and it's just like, to me, it's an everyday smoky eye. I also feel like because it has this light beigey shade, you can use it to set all over your lid first, or you can use it to help blend out the other shades and just get that super soft look. The silver as well, because it is a little bit more of a metallic, even though it's super intense, and it's a little bit less like sparkly glittery. I feel like, again, it looks a little bit softer on the eyes, or like a little bit more everyday. I think it depends on the person, but to me, that's what this vibe is. So I feel like I would recommend this to someone who likes softer eye looks, maybe to someone who has a lighter skin tone, because some of these shades are a little bit lighter, a little bit less pigmented than the Kaleidos. I mean, all the mattes are super creamy. They all blend super well across both palettes, but I feel like the darker shade here, especially the black, is much more of a buildable one versus just like high impact. So I think that it just depends on what you like and what you want out of a little smoky quad, or quint. Sorry, I keep wanting to say quad. Okay, and then the Kaleidos, I feel like this one, I just want to like let it be the winner just by packaging alone, because the packaging is so cute. But as far as quality goes, again, like I said, mattes, so buttery, so smooth, completely what I expect from Kaleidos, and I feel like they do hold their own against Natasha Denona 100%. So I would recommend this quad over the Natasha Denona one for somebody who wants that really super pigmented black. I feel like it is really pigmented, but it also blended out super nicely. I mean, I feel like you can see the difference just so easily on my eyes, that this one is just so much more pigmented, and I feel like it just looks like such a good black. So that is definitely something that this palette has over the Natasha Denona. Again, this sparkly shade, definitely more sparkly, definitely like that, just super intense. I feel like if you like more sparkly shadows over more metallic shadows, then you'd probably like this silver better. And then between the two matte shades here, I feel like those are both a little bit more pigmented on the eyes. Immediately, they have a little bit more depth to them than the two lighter grays in the Natasha Denona palette. So I feel like if you have a deep skin tone, or you like really dramatic eye looks, this palette will work better for you than the Mini Xenon. So now let's go ahead and talk about ColourPop Blow and Smoke. This one has a few things going for it. So for one, it is $14 for 9 shades. It's still a pretty small amount of product, but it is a little bit more affordable than the other two. It's also the only one of these palettes that is vegan, so it's got that going for it as well. And I do like this. I think this is a good, affordable, cool tone smoky palette. But the reason why I didn't feel the need to compare them per se is because I would go for this if you're looking for more shades in one palette. If you need to have a vegan formula, then this is a decent palette. But I feel like as far as the mattes are concerned, the mattes in the Natasha Denona and the Kaleidos just blend so much more buttery, so much more smooth. They're definitely like way better than the mattes in this palette. I feel like ColourPop's mattes can be kind of hit and miss, and this is a decent palette, but it's definitely not one of their best. So I feel like I can go ahead and do some swatches. I can show you they're pigmented, but they are going to take a little bit while longer to blend versus the other palettes that I showed you today. So I can see how this would still be good for some people, but it's definitely not my favorite of the three. The one thing that is nice about this is, like I said, it does have extra options. So you've got like that matte white, you've got a few different silver options, you've got a black sparkly shade, you've got like this kind of like gray with some sparkles in it as well. So a few different things going on. But just to compare versus what's happening here, I mean, I felt like I could do like some swatches right here real quick. So we have a light gray. Da-da-da. We have a really pretty silver. I do like it, I'm not gonna lie. I think this is a really nice silver. I've reached for it several times, but it is just straight up metallic. There's no sparkles. And then we've got this gray. Da-da-da. And we've got this black, which is very pigmented, but also very dry. So we'll do that right here. Just so you guys can see. I mean, you can get, okay, that's ridiculous. Those are so similar. It's ridiculous. Okay, so you can see, like I said, similar color story, really beautiful. The silver is not quite as nice as the Kaleidos and Natasha Denona, and you're gonna blend a little bit longer, but if you're looking for something a little bit more affordable, if you're looking for something vegan and you don't mind blending a little bit longer, then this is definitely an option as well. And I mean, even though it's more shades, it is still very small. So honestly, I can see why any of the three would be nice for someone. Or you could be like me and just have all three. I don't know why I can't stop staring at my arm right now. But that is pretty much everything for today's video. I hope that it was helpful. Let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this, if there's anything you're wanting to see compared, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.